Hello, Sun Devil Learning Lab. Welcome back to another great day of learning. I'm Miss Wendy,
I'm Miss Martinez. Hello.
and this is part 5. Can you guys believe it? Part 5 in our series on how to write an informative piece. Now, if you haven't watched the other videos in the series, highly recommend you guys go check them out because otherwise you will be really confused. You've been missing 4 parts of this lesson, so it'd probably be a good idea for you to go visit the other ones.
There we go. And make sure you have your pencil and a piece of paper in front of you with your first draft.
Yes, absolutely. So for those of you who might be new to the Sun Devil Learning Lab, hello, welcome. We are so excited to have you guys ready to learn with us. Just a little bit of background on the Sun Devil Learning Lab. It was created in response to the coronavirus shutting down all the schools across the whole nation. And we just wanted to make sure that even though schools weren't in session, you guys were still getting your education. Hence why the Sun Devil Learning Lab was born. Me and Miss Martinez both worked on it during the school year, and then we both decided to come back for summer because we are really excited for you guys to continue your summer education, and we're just really glad that you're here learning with us.
There we go.
So with that being said, let's get into our lesson for the day. So this is part 5 on how to write an informative piece. And there we go.
Cool. So for our goal of the day, I can revise and edit my first draft of my essay. So we did the first draft together in the introduction with me, and Miss Wendy was so kind to do the main idea and to go over the passage with you guys and do our outline. So I hope that you guys were successful in having your own time to write this. I hope it went smoothly and you weren't overwhelmed and stressed about it. But yeah, that's our goal for the day.
Sweet. And then let's just go over our schedule for the day. So basically what we're going to do is Ms. Martinez is going to lead us through just a quick recap of everything that we have done so far. And then second, we are going to go over what to do. We are going to go more into revising and editing today. So we are going to go into how to revise and edit. And then we are going to have just some quick examples of kind of what to look for when you're revising and editing, give you a little checklist, go into a little bit more detail on what we're looking for, and then it will be your guys' turn to revise and edit your essay. So pretty simple day ahead of us. We've got this. We've done 4 parts already before this. You guys can knock it out of the park with this one. Because revising and editing was always my favorite when I was a kid, so I'm sure you guys will nail this.
All right, so I hope this looks familiar. Miss Wendy was kind enough to pull out all these facts for us and break them down into 3 paragraphs. So for our first draft, we did our introduction together. You either copied it or went on your own and freestyled it. And then for our first draft, I gave you these facts and told you how to format your paper. You were supposed to go in and use your own voice, do these facts, and have the format of the introduction sentence, the summary, the background, and then just the final part of the paragraph. So we had 4 paragraphs in total, a pretty long, lengthy essay, but it should have been somewhat easy. You should feel helped out a little bit because we had all the facts presented in front of you. So like we said for the review, we talked about in the beginning just some background. In the middle, we talked about how plastic damages the ocean and the animals around it. And then the last part was just about the difficulties cleaning it, how it's expensive, how much time it takes up. And then our conclusion was just overall saying our thesis statement that we wrote together and summarizing everything that happened in the entire first draft. So remember in our first draft, we said that it could have a lot of mistakes, could have a lot of errors. It's just the first draft. It was just getting our thoughts out on paper. So that was just kind of the recap of what we did the other day.
Very cool. Very good job. And just like Ms. Martinez said, your first draft obviously is not going to be perfect. It's basically just about, getting your thoughts onto paper. You're obviously going to probably have misspellings. You're going to have grammar mistakes, but that is where revising and editing comes in. So what we are going to do is we have 2 different methods here for how to revise and edit. So we are going to go over revising first, and the acronym that they have for revising is called ARMS. So what we are going to look for when we're going to go through, we're going to grab our first draft, we're going to reread it. And while we're rereading it, we are going to think about arms. What is arms, you might ask? Let's go over it, what it says in the chart. So we're going to look to add. This could be adding sentences, words, details, or examples. If we are reading that paper and we're like, I feel like I know a bit about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, but I could use a little bit more, maybe a little bit more information, maybe even you forgot a few words in your sentence. That's totally okay. That is what you are going to add in arms. We're just adding a little bit of spices, a little bit of extra stuff throughout the sentences. Another thing we are going to do, so the R in arms stands for remove. This could involve removing unneeded words or sentences if we feel like some words or sentences are maybe plural, they're getting a little bit redundant, we're saying the same thing over and over again. We can just remove those from our essay so we have a nice, cohesive, easy to follow along essay. Additionally, if we use too much description words and we think, okay, that's a little bit of overkill right there, we can just remove those unneeded words. They're gone. Poof, they're out of our paper. Next, what we are going to do, the M, is move. This could involve moving sentences, words, or sections. As we're reading along, a little tip that I'm going to add for revision is you guys should be reading what you have out loud. If at any time you feel that your speech is getting a little bit choppy, maybe the sentences don't flow together quite as well as you think they should, this is when you should be revising. You should be moving sentences until you feel that they can flow really smoothly together. And then finally, the last step in revision is substitute. And we are going to substitute words or sentences for others. If you feel like just a certain word just doesn't have that pop that you were looking for, this is the place to do it. If you want to add it with a poppier word, something that makes much more of an impact, this is the time to do it. So we're going to go back to editing in a little bit just to talk about it. But real quick, let's just break down a little bit further what arms is. So for arms, for the A, it says add. Read through your first draft. Is there some detail you left out? Maybe a part of the story you were trying to tell that was really funny or necessary for your readers to understand? If you're writing a report, this may be a part that was to be included as part of the assignment. Go back and read, and this is a key point right here, go back and read the directions to your assignment and make sure you have every part, especially your name and title. I cannot tell you the amount of times that our students have turned in stuff without their names and we do not know whose is whose. Now, go make the changes by adding what is important. So, like we talked about, just adding that little extra sprinkle, making sure you have all the requirements of the text. That is a huge part in revising.
And look at your outline and see if you forgot those facts that Miss Wendy went over. Make sure that you have every single one of them because we said you have to have 3 to 4 facts for each paragraph.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to read a paragraph just about one fact. No matter how interesting that fact is, I don't want to read a whole paragraph about it. I love it if you add more facts my way. The more facts, the better, as long as they make sense together.
There we go.
All right. Ms. Martinez, do you want to do remove?
Got it. Okay, so remove. Read through your first draft again. Is there a detail or two that you really don't need or that you put in there more than once? Did you repeat a sentence on accident or a word on accident? Draw a line through any words or sentences that you really don't need to make the meaning clear or that you have repeated. So super easy. Get a red pen, just cross it out. That way when you go and rewrite it, it's gone. It's out of the way. You don't even need to pretend like it's there.
Exactly. You guys can be like little mini teachers with your red pens, just crossing out your own work, making it that much better. And like we said, if you have 2 sentences that are basically saying the same thing, why don't you go through those and pick which one is stronger? Pick which one adds a little bit more pop to your essay, and that should be the one you're using.
And make sure you add voice. That's super important.
Oh my gosh, I should be able to read your essay and know that it is you writing it. I don't want to read it like it just came out of a dictionary. That's boring. That is not exciting. I want to be able to hear your guys' personality come through this. And I know this is like a nonfiction report, so it's kind of hard to have your voice, but I still want those little sprinkles of your voice because that's what makes your writing so exciting.
There you go.
All right, so now we're going to move on to move. How perfect. So move. Read through your first draft again. Is there a part you may have added and it seems to be in the wrong place? Is the order of your story correct? If this is an informational report, did you put all of the like parts, such as with an animal report, keeping all information about their food together, all shelter sentences, you get the idea, together? Move any sentences that are in the wrong area to the right area. So if we look at this little chunking of what we are writing our paragraphs on, what if I just included, what if I moved located in the Pacific Rim down to the cleanup efforts?
That doesn't make any sense.
No, that kind of throws off the whole balance of the paper. I feel like the way we've laid it out now, we have our information on this first paragraph right here, our environmental consequences right here, and then our cleanup. I feel like that is a pretty good one. So if you feel like you have anything that doesn't quite fit in one of those paragraphs, that would definitely be a time to move it.
There we go.
Then finally, substitute.
All right, so substitute. Read through your first draft again. Are there any words that you keep repeating that could be changed for a more interesting word for your readers? So how do we change up garbage and trash? How do we add new words for that? If every sentence starts with "the dog went," your readers will get bored. Mm-hmm. Does the main character have a name? Use it sometimes, but don't start every sentence the same. Don't start sentences with "it," in my personal opinion. Change your verbs also. Went could be changed to trotted, ran quickly, ambled. I think that's the word. And a lot of other ways to move with the feet. Think about what you want to say and how to make it a clear picture for your reader. And don't ever just copy sentences from a book for your report. Substitute by reading, covering the words, and then writing your own words about what you just read. And then check those pesky words like to, and to, and make sure you're using the right one. So again, make sure that you are changing up your words. Don't have boring words in there. Get a dictionary. I know that sounds super old, or maybe even look it up on Google how you can change out your words.
Exactly. And just like Miss Martinez was saying, we don't want every single sentence to start with "the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch." That just gets boring and repetitive. As much as I could talk about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch all day, and I could, especially after reading y'all's report, I do not want to start every sentence with "the Great Pacific Garbage Patch." And just another thing I want to note as we talk about revising, look how many times it's telling us to read through our story. Read through your first draft. Read through your first draft again. Read through your first draft again. Read through your first draft again. You guys are going to be reading it just by revising 4 times. And I know it's exhausting to read your own writing 4 times, but these are the ways that we make sure that you're a good writer. Because what if I made a mistake and I didn't catch it the first 3 times, but on the 4th time, I caught it?
And you use this in college, any grade ever. I know that I used to write papers and I would have to do 4 drafts before I would get to the final draft.
Yeah. And this is still something that you guys, like me and Miss Martinez, we still use this whenever we write papers. So it's something that you are going to constantly be using even when you're not in 3rd grade anymore, when you're a grown-up like we are. And so now that we've covered revising, we're going to go over editing a bit. Editing is, in my opinion, quite a bit easier than revising because it's stuff that I can visually see. So for editing, we're going to want to think of the acronym CUPS. So we're going to look for capitalization, usage, punctuation, and spelling. So for capitalization, we want to make sure all names, places, titles, and sentence starters are all properly capitalized. We don't just want random capitalizations of words in the middle of sentences unless it's someone's name, of course, or a proper noun. But ultimately, just remember, sentences always start with a capital letter, as do names. Yeah. So, and then the U is going to go for usage. Match nouns and verbs correctly to make sense. If I'm talking about 2 pencils, I wouldn't want to say, "Can you hand me that pencils?" That just sounds really awkward. But if I say, "Can you hand me those pencils?" Much better. Makes way more sense that way because we're making sure our nouns are matching our verbs. And then we are going to move on to punctuation, which is going to include, periods, commas, quote marks, question marks, exclamation points. Just make sure if I'm writing a sentence that's not supposed to be a question, that it doesn't end with a question mark, because that just would not make sense. We don't want a statement to be a question. And then finally, spelling, you're going to want to check all your words, make sure you are using a dictionary, and yeah, just make sure all your words are spelled properly. Right. So me and Miss Martinez made a little editing thing that we want you guys to do. Just make sure that you guys are catching on as to looking for any capitalization, usage, punctuation, or spelling mistakes.
And make sure to pause the video if you feel we're going too fast or too slow.
Yes.
Keep going forward.
All right, so this is the one you are going to edit. So if you guys want to pause the video right now, feel free to look at this, look over this. Are there any capitalization, usage, punctuation, or spelling mistakes that you guys see? So I'm gonna let you guys pause the video, and then when you're done, you can start replaying it. Okay, cool. So now that you guys have paused the video and figured out the editing, let's move on to the actual edited passage.
Whoa,
whole bunch of editing right there. So as we can see right off the bat, capitalization right here. One day, start of the sentence is not capitalized. Number one error right there. So one day I, again, not capitalized.
Capitalization again.
Strikes again. Was walking to. Is to a name? Is your name two? Is two at the beginning of the sentence? No, it doesn't need to be capitalized. So we're going to uncapitalize that. And park, who in the world? That's not how you spell park. While we're going over this, is that a question? Am I asking Miss Martinez? One day I was walking to the park.
That doesn't even make sense.
I know. I'm not asking her a question. So good job, guys. Next sentence is, I saw a dog white. That makes sense, but does it flow that well? I don't think so. Not in my opinion.
A little awkward.
Yeah. So would we say I saw a dog white, or I saw a white dog? White dog sounds so much better. And guys, let's all say it together. How do we spell dog? D-O-G. Okay, not D-O-G-G, my bad. So I saw a white dog standing by a bush. Bush is not capitalized, as you can see. When we got closer, I realized it was my friend's dog. Let's look over. Yep. All right. We saw some editing mistakes right here. Not capitalized here. Weirdly capitalized here. That it was my friend's. I know possessions get kind of confusing, but this one, it's just my friend's dog.
And that helps to say it out loud, right, Miss Wendy?
Oh, absolutely. There have definitely been times that I've been working with possessions that I have to sit there and think, okay, friend's dog. The dog belongs to my friend. Okay, that's how I'm going to write it.
There you go.
And then final sentence. Let's see how this one flows. I were so excited that my friend was at the park too. I were so excited. That's kind of giving me a headache to say. I feel like that's not right. Ms. Martinez, does that sound right to you?
No, sounds a little off.
That does. What if I said I was so excited? That feels a little bit better.
Okay.
All right. So I was so excited that my friend named Friend?
No.
No, I don't think so. So let's not capitalize friend. Friend should not be capitalized. Was at the park too. Uh-oh. Remember what Miss Martinez said about those pesky words? 2, 2, and 2. Let's make sure we have the right one there. This should be 2 as in as well, not to the number, and not 2 as in to you. Here you go. Here's a gift. This is 2 as in as well. So great job. Thumbs up, round of applause if you guys did a great job editing that. I'm sure you did. And now,
wow, we're already here at our final checklist for your first draft. So now that we gave you a bunch of tools to go over and to review what happened in your first draft, make sure that you have these written down before you start your final draft. Make sure you follow and make sure you have all your spacing correct, your sight words, your capital letters, have neat handwriting. Super important. If you need to take the time, have neat handwriting. And ending punctuation. Make sure that you have the right punctuation like we went over when we edited. And also practice arms. Plain and simple.
great job. All right, guys. So that concludes our lesson. So now it's time for you to go work on revising and editing your final draft. Remember, as we talked about, read it over at least 4 times just for revising and then once for editing. So that's 5 times you guys should be reading it. I know that is so much you're going to be reading, but just think about it. It is going to make you guys much better writers, which I'm so excited for. So go on, go be amazing. We're very proud of you here at Sun Devil Learning Lab, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Great job, guys.